Night 120. Jokic with another dominant performance, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Denver advances to the Western Conference Final. The 76ers could not do the same in the East. The Celtics win Game 6, 95-86. Game 7 of that series in Boston Sunday. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Hurricanes eliminate the Devils in 5 games, 3-2 on an overtime goal from Jesper Fast.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions, Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on IOPServicesLLC.com.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom, can you get me a little typeset?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Football Friday in the Doghouse. And we are out on location for the show today here at Goose Pond Colony's Plantation Course for the Jackson County Bama Backers Golf Tournament. We're going to be telling you about that throughout the show here today. The guys are just getting ready to tee off as we are set up here on the patio out behind the clubhouse. And it's as if Bear Bryant himself reached down and stopped the rain. It has been pouring all morning long. And it just stopped. Stopped. There's standing water on the course, but they're going to be good to go to get out there on this track. What a beautiful setting it is here. I'm going to try and just give you a little lay of the land from where I am broadcasting. For those of you that are watching on WZZN TV or on Twitter or on Facebook, I'll swing the camera around. And this is the patio that we are on out here, and then you can kind of see there's the golf course with the mountains in the background, and it just stopped. You see standing water on the course. Look at all that water that is standing on the course. They're just getting ready to send them out, though. They just pulled the carts around to the far side, and they're going to get this thing underway here and get it going, and we'll tell you about what they're raising money for as well, because they raise a lot of money to send kids from Jackson County area to the University of Alabama. Now, we got plenty of room to get you into the show today. Pretty much a wide-open first hour of the show, although Keith Miller, Dr. Keith Miller, he is the executive director of the National Alumni Association. He's going to be coming up and joining us here in just a few minutes, so we will talk to him a little bit. But otherwise, a wide-open first hour. We have got plenty of room to get you into the show today. We have a wide-open first hour of the show with the NFL schedule being revealed. And some great playoff action last night as one NBA and one NHL series was clinched. The Phoenix Suns laid a total egg at home against the Nuggets as the Joker in Denver won by 25 over Durant and the Setting Suns. And in the NHL, the Canes finish off New Jersey and will now wait on the Florida Panthers to finish the Maple Leafs to set up an all-SEC conference final between Carolina and Florida. It's like the SEC Eastern Division. It'll be Carolina and Florida most likely, unless the Maple Leafs can do the unlikely. And I think they'll win and extend it to Game 6, but the Maple Leafs were down 3-0. And now they are down 3-1 in that series, and they got a lot of work done. They would be only the third team in the 100 and whatever year history of the NHL to come back from down 3-0 to win a series. So it's probably going to be Carolina and Florida. It's going to look like the SEC East. Not sure how that will play throughout the rest of the country. My guess is losing the Rangers, the Bruins, and probably Toronto kind of sucks for the networks. We'll have to see. And the Celtics finished strong to take that series back to Boston for Game 7. And if Philly is going to get through, they're going to have to win 3 of the 4 games in Boston. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. And notice the gear that they wore last night, the Celtics. Did you notice? I'm telling you, it's all about the gear. I'm not trying to trivialize it. It's all about the gear. When the Celtics wear Celtic gear, they win. They win. That's it. They went from a middle-of-the-pack favorite when they were going to Philadelphia down 3-2 to now they are the favorite again to win the NBA championship. They went from plus 450 to plus 175. In other words, they went from you had to put $1 on them to make $4.50. That was before they won in Philadelphia last night. Now you put $1 on them and you get $1.75 because they're the favorites. Just like that, they return to being the favorites. I mean, it's just incredible how volatile that thing has been. 2 huge games tonight. And the Knicks and the Warriors have to win on the road in Miami and L.A., respectively, if they want to get back home for Game 7s. And late-night hockey tonight in Vegas as the Oilers and Knights are knotted at 2 apiece. So that's kind of what's going on in the playoffs. As I said, Dr. Keith Miller will be joining us here after the break, and we'll talk to him and get his take on this whole thing, and will tell us more about what's going on here in Jackson County, in Scottsboro, as this Jackson County Bama Club holds their annual Roll Tide Golf Tournament today here at the Plantation Course at Goose Pond in Scottsboro. Now, at the top of the one, we're going to introduce you to Kennington Lloyd Smith. He is the new Alabama beat writer for The Athletic. Now, look, you know, Grizz knows this because he saw the phone number. He's got the number on the sheet. That's an Atlanta number. That's a Georgia boy right here. All right, he is the Tide beat writer. It's a Georgia boy. So we're going to have to reconcile that with him first and foremost. We have to take care of that. Now, if you're wondering what happened to Aaron Suttles, he was the writer for The Athletic that covered the Tide. Aaron Suttles left the Athletic to go to work for Yay, Alabama, which is the Tide Collective, and he's the director of digital content there now for Yay, Alabama. That's what happened to him. Now, after Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South is back to take a look at several SEC stories that are brewing, and we'll look at some win totals as well with him, plus the 2 transfer quarterbacks that come into the state with Tyler Buckner and Peyton Thorne. We'll get into that. Phone lines open at 256-576-4977. You can also text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469, which is a great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed is at Tom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there. You can watch it on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch it on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV as well, and check all of that out. Now, you go to 97.7ESPN.com and you get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get our apps as well, too. You need to have those apps so you get all of our channels and all of our great programming. You know, I've been getting harassed by the unknown texter, who I suspect is an Auburn fan, and he's a great baseball fan, but he keeps asking me why Nick Saban can't do it without Kirby Smart. That was his question. So tell me, why can't Nick Saban do it without Kirby Smart? I don't know what he's talking about. Do what? Why can't he do what without Kirby Smart? I'm confused by this. And I've answered him multiple times, but he doesn't like my answer. Of course, the defense has declined some. There's no doubt about it since Kirby Smart left. And as I have said often, when you watch Georgia play, that looks like Alabama back in the in the 2010s. All right, but the facts are that Saban and Smart have each won 2 national championships since Smart left, and Nick Saban is 4-1 head-to-head against Kirby Smart. Those facts are stubborn things. And I point that out to him when he says, how come Saban can't do it without Smart? Do what? Win 2 national championships? Beat Kirby Smart 4 out of 5 times? I don't know what – I'm not sure what he wants them to do. But, that's just me. I'm hard-headed. Look, I'm hard-headed. What can I tell you? All right, over there in the little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, answering the phones, living large and in charge on a Friday, it's the one and only DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Grizz, what's wrong? You don't like the Friday song, Grizz?
No, my bad. I hit the wrong one.
I caught you by surprise.
No, I had a phone call and I was replying to an email. I got my new Woody Anderson email, so we can get our new Woody Anderson emails in, or new Woody Anderson spot in. And I was replying to that, and then as soon as you said that, I looked over and I had the wrong sheet up for buttons, so I just hit the open real quick.
I wish you were out here.
I'm telling you, I can play the football music for you if you want. I do have that.
I think that, we're going to have football music.
Yeah.
It's football
Friday.
We
got plenty of that ready to go.
All throughout the show.
I'm just saying the 70s music, that everyone loves.
I'm going to tell you, it's Bear Bryant himself reached down and stopped the rain. I'm just saying, I'm not saying anything about anything. This morning, it was pouring here.
Last night, it started
It was like a frog strangler here about 20 minutes ago. Forget last night. I'm talking about when I was setting up. And I had to kind of MacGyver things a little bit here this morning. It was like
crazy. You had to
put
stuff together?
Well, we're out in the country a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah.
They have a hard line, apparently. Out in the country, they have a hard line.
They do. They have a hard line. Nobody can buy anything in the club, in the pro shop. No, that's not true. But the deal is it was pouring, and it poured all the way here. I had to come up and over the mountain to get here from Winchester. And I come down here, and it was foggy and everything else. And I set up, and then literally like 3 minutes before they're getting set to send the carts out for the tournament, all of a sudden it stops raining. It just stops. And I'm going to give Bear credit. I think Bear, maybe Mel Moore, they got together and they said, let's just put a halt to that rain.
For today.
It's lightening up, to be honest with you. It's lightening up a little bit too. So hopefully they've had the end of it for the rain for the rest of the day. Now, by the way, did you see some of the hilarious videos that have been posted by the teams, the NFL teams, regarding their schedules? I mean, the best has to be the one that the Tennessee Titans put out, where they asked tourists in Nashville to identify the logos of the teams that are on their schedules. They put up the Falcons logo, and this girl said they were the Red Stallions. So you got your Red Stallions. They put up the Colts logo. The Stallions. They are the Cowboys. When they put the Colts logo up, everybody, that's the Cowboys logo. And the Jaguars don't even exist. They showed the Jags, and they said, well, that's not really a team.
That's not real.
That's not real. That's not really a team. It is pretty good. I retweeted it at my Twitter feed, so it's pretty cool. All right, tell you what. We're going to get a break in here. We got open lines the entire first hour, but we're going to get a quick break in here. When we come back, Dr. Keith Miller will join us, not only on air but on camera here. And so those of you that are watching at WZZN TV, you're going to want to check that out as well. He is the executive director of the national alumni for the Crimson Tide and for the University of Alabama. We'll talk to him about what's going on here and what his duties are with that, because he's here and then he's only hanging out with me to do this interview. And then after that, he's out of here. He's got to go do another one and then another one. I mean, he's a busy man. You know, when you're a national director or something, you're a busy guy. So we'll talk to Dr. Miller next right here on the Thom Abraham Show, the home of the Crimson Tide, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have the state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SUMMI to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SUMMI for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SUMMI for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Guys, music can inspire us. Let the concert quality sound system at Zoom Indoor Cycling help push you harder than you ever thought possible. No matter if you're a beginner or an experienced rider, you'll ride top-of-the-line Stages SC3 bikes as the most talented instructors in North Alabama motivate you to reach your goals.
You can do it!
Guys, time to find out what you're made of. Challenge your friends or just challenge yourself and get in shape at Zoom Indoor Cycling. Visit ZoomHSV.com to find out more. $2 specialty shoe rental per ride for new riders.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I should pull up sometimes, silly.
Okay, almost everything.
Come on, I'll tell you a fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 977 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Very appropriate. Bringing us back with a little Yale event. A little preamble there. On location here at the Jackson County Bama Club Golf Tournament, their annual golf tournament out here in Scottsboro at beautiful Goose Pond Plantation course. This is not the course that's right on the lake. This is one that's off the lake, but it's really cool here. And those of you that are watching on WZZN TV as well as listening to us have noticed that I have been joined here now by Dr. Keith Miller, who is, in fact, not the executive director of the Alumni Association for Alabama. I was corrected quite sternly during the break. He is actually the president, which is a big difference. So we don't want to give you a title that you don't have right yet.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about your responsibilities and what goes on here, because you're going from here to another event as well. And, these events are really, really important.
Absolutely. We raise a lot of money for scholarships, and that's the main goal of our Alumni Association. We have about $61 million in our endowments. We have 726 endowments that help over 2,800 students this year. So all the money raised across the country, not just the state of Alabama, all of these different events. And so that's my wife and I, we're both graduates of the University of Alabama. We're taking this year to travel to really basically thank our volunteers for raising money and to help our chapters grow the scholarship program. Our enrollment we've set records again this year with our freshman class at the University of Alabama. And so we want to help as many kids as possible to get to attend the university that we were privileged to attend.
Yeah, and we should be clear, this is not just an athlete's thing. I mean, this is not athletic scholarships. This is the kid who's an outstanding student as well, and that wants to go to the university.
That's right. We have kids from all walks of life. We just want somebody that as Dr. Bell says, we want the best and the brightest at the University of Alabama.
You mentioned that enrollment deal. My son went to Alabama in 2006, I think it was. It must have been 2006 because he was on Nick Saban's first staff in 2007 as a student assistant. When he went there, I believe they had about 19,000 students. Where are they at now?
38,000.
And people want to dispute Nick Saban's salary, right? Remember when it went to $5 million and the president said this is the best investment we ever made, and you're talking about doubling the attendance in the time that Nick Saban has been there. And, of course, there are a lot of other factors, but man, having a program that is that high profile from a football standpoint, it certainly has helped put a lot more students down on the capstone.
We graduated 5,800 students May 6th.
And that is just absolutely tremendous. Now, Susan Krell is here as well. Let me slide her over here on camera with us. She is the scholarship chairperson for Jackson County. Now, how long have you guys been doing this here in Jackson County now?
I have been on the board since the 80s, and I have been doing scholarships since the early 90s. And we've been doing a golf tournament just about that long, since the 90s.
Now, did you see the dude that was walking around? He was all decked out in orange. He had that Tennessee stuff on. Was he at the wrong tournament? Who invited him?
I don't know who invited him, but we are happy to have him.
As long as his money is green and the check clears, right, then we're okay.
Sometimes we have Auburn graduates that help us, and we are delighted that they come and join us.
So, do you have any idea how many students over the years, or how much money has been raised over the years that have, here just in Jackson County?
We are growing each year. We have 12 right now, 12 endowed scholarships, and some of the scholarships will generate 2 or 3, for students. So this year, we were able to give or help approximately about 25, 26 students. And ours are not just freshmen. We have freshmen, we have the transfer students from Northeast College, Community College, which is not far from Scottsboro. And then we also help current students. So we are helping all of our students from Jackson County down there. We have this year $62,000 in scholarship money that we're giving. So this is the largest amount so far, but we keep growing. Every year it's more.
Well, clearly it's because the radio station helped you, raise money this year for the time. I'm sorry, you were going to say Ann?
Oh, absolutely. I think you're right. I think you're right. But we're just delighted to help. And our chapter 2, one of the responsibilities of the chapters is to help those students who might not otherwise get help. So we're helping. We try to help every student, a freshman or a transfer each year that goes to Alabama from Jackson.
And how do the students find out about it? How do they apply to get use of the funds and so on? And I assume it's a lot of it is partial. It might just be a couple of $1,000s or whatever it is that they need, not necessarily full enrollment.
That's right. We give and all different amounts, but all they do is when they apply, to Alabama on their admissions, they fill out a resume form, which they have to do, and that's all they have to do. Then the admissions office sends it to the alumni office sends it to us. It's that easy. They don't have to do anything separately.
What do you think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think Bear reached down and put a stop to this rain here so that we could have this tournament like this? I mean, it totally stopped 5 minutes before the tournament. It's got to be Bear or Mel. Could be Dr. Moore. Could be him.
Yes, and I have been down here since 8:30 this morning, and it has been raining since approximately 8:30. So definitely it was Bear and Malmore and maybe some others up there.
Well, we appreciate you. It's good for us to be out here. We appreciate that. Let me finish with Dr. Miller, where we started. And so you're running all over the state now. I mean, this is a labor of love for you because you're not the executive director because you're the president. But I mean, you from here you go to other parts of the state, and it really is a labor of love.
It absolutely is. I received an alumni-based scholarship in 1983 when I graduated from high school, and it helped me achieve my dream of attending the University of Alabama. And so this is my way to give back. And we're going to actually travel the country. I mean, it's not just in the state of Alabama. We've been to Columbus, Georgia in the last week, Chattanooga, Tennessee. We'll be in Selma next week, Knoxville, Tennessee, the Orange Place, next Thursday night. And then we're headed out, I'll leave the next week, Andalusia, I already said Selma, Huntsville, Birmingham, in the next few weeks, and Denver, Colorado, Salt Lake City, Utah, several places in Texas. Texas, have a lot of alumni in Texas, a lot of alumni.
And that script A just means so much, I would imagine, when you show up. I mean, it's people know it, and it's everywhere, and not only fans to the university sports programs, but just the growing reputation of the education that you get at Alabama.
It's top notch, absolutely. As Dr. Bell says, the best and the brightest.
There you go. So I appreciate you joining us. I know you got more stuff to do, but I appreciate you coming out.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide is right. All right, so there you go. That's why we're here. That's what we're raising money for, and that's what this golf tournament, the Roll Tide Golf Tournament here at Jackson County, is all about here in Scottsboro at the plantation course at Goose Pond. All right, we're going to get a break in here. When we come back, we'll open up the phone line, so this is the time to jump on the line. We'll get you in next. It's the Thom Abraham Show, live on location, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
I'm Olympic gold medalist Rowdy Gaines, and I'm recommending you register for the 40th Annual Alabama State Games, happening June 9th through June 11th in Birmingham. Athletes of all ages and abilities will participate in any of the 25 team or individual sports. Registered athletes have the opportunity to win up to $4,000 in academic scholarships to add to the over $335,000 already awarded. Registered at alagames.com. That's ALAGAMES.com.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas return home for 6 games starting Tuesday, May 16th as they take on the Birmingham Barons. First 1,500 adults into the gates at Toyota Field will receive a commemorative Trash Pandas bobblehead. Get your tickets while they are still available now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Let's rock it.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seed, Managing Partner of University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Crimson Tide football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com for all our great offers. And get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today. Because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide!
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms once again this afternoon. Maybe a little cooler considering more cloud cover across the area. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. A partly sunny sky through Saturday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms certainly going to be in the forecast, but the day's not going to be a complete wash. This is going to be your typical summertime variety shower and thunderstorm activity. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 80s. A partly sunny sky for your Sunday. It's going to be a fantastic Mother's Day across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Some of us making a solid run at 90 degrees. A couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms certainly can't be ruled out. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's perfect!
And welcome back to Tom Abraham Show. On location, Goose Pond Plantation, where we are at. Skies are really starting to clear. I mean, the fog is lifted. The rain has stopped. And the golfers are on the course. We're hanging out here on the patio, and it's all good. That's for sure. All right, you want to jump in? This is a good time to do it. 256-576-4977. You can get in any of the topics that I've already thrown out there on the table, and we go to the lines with Brandon. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Just making sure you're not on the Thom Abraham patio, correct?
No, this is not the Thom Abraham patio overlooking the Vanderbilt football facility. No, not that patio. This is just a patio at Goose Pond Plantation. That's all.
Today would have been a good day to have some CCR. Have you ever seen the rain in the bumper river?
Yeah. We could, if it wasn't Football Friday, you know what I mean, and we got to get our football music on Football Friday. But yes, have you ever seen the rain? Raindrops keep falling on my head. And any other rain-oriented songs would have been appropriate, except for there is no rain now. It's stopped.
Well, so step back to something we talked about back last year. So the two guys that won the fishing tournament by stuffing half-dead other fish down their throat and weights, well,
the walleye. Now, wait a minute now. Justify that. Walleye tournament, all right? Because I don't want people to interpret that with my beloved bass fishing tournaments, okay? This was not bass. This is walleye fishermen that did that up north. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and the fish do not have to be alive when you bring them in, correct?
Yes, walleye do not do catch and release with walleye. Walleye are not hardy like bass are, so you couldn't hardly even keep them alive and re-release them unless you release them immediately. You catch a walleye, you release it immediately, it'll do fine. But a walleye would not hold up well. And in those walleye tournaments, they weigh them in dead. But they're good eating, I'll say that.
Well, these two guys are going to get 10 days in jail.
That's all?
18 months probation. And
that's all?
That's it for so far. They're getting a $2,500 fine apiece.
What?
And then Comiskey has to surrender his $100,000 fishing boat
that he won in the tournament, or just in general that is his boat, because they won these guys won a lot of money. I mean, $2,500 fines. That doesn't make sense.
The dude that doesn't own the boat is getting off easy. 10 days, 18 months light probation, and a $2,500 fine, and he's made hundreds of thousands of dollars fishing. So the only person that's really taking the hit is Kaminsky that owns the boat.
It still seems light, to be honest with you. I mean, you would think that these guys, I mean, that's stealing. You know what I mean? That's the same as it's grand larceny, the amount of money that these guys stole by cheating in that tournament. I would think that these guys would have gotten 2 or 3 years in jail for that. Because it wasn't like, they cheated in a fishing tournament. It's one thing to cheat in a fishing tournament. They stole tens of thousands of dollars from other anglers by doing this. I mean, they should be in jail for a lot longer than 10 days.
The story here says that originally they were not going to file charges against them or call the police, but at the behest of the other fishermen raising hell and threatening not to come back to the tournament if they didn't prosecute them, it was at that point they decided to. So they almost just walked away and nothing happened.
Yeah, that's disappointing that that's all they got. To be totally honest with you, that is really disappointing that that's all they got. And 10 days is really nothing. You do 10 days standing on your head.
I've never done 10 days. I've done 24 hours, but that was for reckless driving, not for any form of theft. Yeah. And speaking of Football Friday, Oregon and Washington vetted and cleared to join the Big Ten.
This is breaking? Grizz, do we know something about this? Is this something that's just happening new? Because, obviously I've been on the road coming over here to Scottsboro and was setting up and so on, so I missed that. We anticipated that could happen, but I'm not seeing any of that anywhere yet. Is this your interpretation, or where are you getting this?
Outkick posted it last night. Granted, it's Outkick, but they are right a lot of the time, claiming they're vetted and cleared to join the Big Ten Network per Ian Miller last night. So if that happens, do you anticipate the SEC to say, okay, well, we're going to go 2 more? Do you think they look around and say, all right, Clemson, Florida State, let's go?
Yeah, I don't know about Clemson, Florida State. I mean, the ACC has that really, really tough rights deal, media rights deal, where those teams would have to give up their media rights for 10 years. You're talking about $35-40 million each that they would have to give up. I am not seeing that anywhere other than Outkick, and I like Outkick. I've always been a fan of Clay's work, and Clay and I know each other going back to my time in Nashville. I consider him a friend, but I haven't seen that. You would think that would be all over the major websites if that were happening.
Well, I'm wondering, did he jump the shark, or is he assuming something? But I saw it, and I thought, here we go. Here goes the expansion kicking off again. And
it's Ian
I think
Miller.
I sent it to
Ian Miller is the one who wrote the article.
I mean, at this point, the SEC and the Big Ten could possibly just turn around and, hell, they should just compete against the XFL like Grizz says.
Yeah, this is interesting. The article is by Ian Miller at Outkick, and it says a report from Brett McMurphy, so he's giving it to Brett McMurphy, has revealed that the conference may be closer than expected, adding 2 more Pac-12 teams. The Oregon Ducks and Washington Huskies have reportedly been vetted and cleared by the Big Ten, while rumors of the conference interest in adding Pacific Northwest schools has been flying for months. This seems to be more concrete pronouncement. There's nothing, that's it. That's the only place that we're seeing it right now, and it'll be interesting to see if it happens. It makes sense. I mean, I always felt like there was going to be further expansion there. They weren't just pulling 2 West Coast teams, that they were going to have to pull at least 2 more, if not 2 more from that. That takes them to, 18? They could go to 20. I just thought that at some particular point in time they would have to do that. And Oregon and Washington would be the next 2 sexiest outfits, if you will, out of the the Pac-12 that would make sense for them. So that makes them the Pac-8 again, right? Now, right now they would be the Pac-8 again if this goes down.
Well, I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, okay, you got to make a move if you're the SEC. You've got to take somebody. And I wish that Tech was in the SEC. I know they're kind of a doormat right now, but that was a good rivalry for Alabama 30 years ago, 33 years ago.
Which Georgia Tech you talking about?
Yeah, with Bama.
Talking about Georgia Tech. Yeah, there's zero added juice for the SEC with Georgia Tech. I wouldn't think. Yeah, Georgia Tech and Tulane. Bring back Swanee. Let's have Swanee in the SEC again. No, I don't think that would happen.
Georgia Tech's got more SEC titles than some other teams in the SEC.
Instead of looking
that's hilarious.
East, maybe you look west. I mean, what about Oklahoma State? You're bringing in Oklahoma. What about bringing in Oklahoma State? You're bringing in Texas. Do you pull anybody else, from over that way, and and just widen the footprint in the Big 12 area? I don't know. I don't know that adds the juice that you want to add. To me, the market that I would add, though, I don't know that it would. If you're going to dip into the ACC, to be honest with you, Miami. Because that's a market that they would, they got Florida, and I don't know that Florida would block Florida State. There's no way I don't think Florida allows Florida State in. I think you have a certain amount of rights depending on how far or how close, that school is to your school. But I don't know that Miami, which is 5-6 hours from Gainesville, I mean, to me that one would make some sense.
I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm thinking TV-wise, Miami and North Carolina.
Miami and North Carolina, yeah. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad, you pull in Raleigh, that's continuing to be a growing area. You get into the Triangle. I mean, you got South Carolina, but if you can get into that Triangle area of Raleigh, Durham, that area, that's you're from a TV standpoint, yeah, you would be right. From a, the Clemson, Florida State thing, adds the 2 best teams right now out of the ACC if it were to go that way. But remember, Clemson for years was a doormat too, and so has been North Carolina. So you don't know. Yeah, you don't know. Miami's been a doormat now for years. So you just don't know when these things are going to turn. But I would, if you were to say to me, if you could reach out and grab some combination of teams and bring them to the SEC, I would love to see, in my mind, it would be Clemson and Miami. Those would be the 2. And, It gets you the rest of the state of South Carolina and a lot of North Carolina as well. And Clemson has a lot of national fans now. I mean, to me, it would be Clemson and Miami. Miami's one of the biggest markets in the country.
Well, do we see reports popping up before the first week of the season about expansion moving forward? Do we make that prediction?
Yes. Yes, you're going to hear stuff during – you remember it was SEC Media Days a couple of years ago when we found out on the last day that it would be that Oklahoma and Texas were moving to the SEC. So I would not be surprised if while we're in here that we heard something about rumblings. And we know there's a number of schools that want to get in. The problem with any ACC school is that media rights deal. I had looked it up before. I remember having it before. It's not just this isn't just like you're putting pins on a map and you say, oh, let's take that team. Oh, let's take that team. There are things that are involved in it. So they'd have to negotiate what that ACC grant of rights deal is. My understanding is that it's something like there's like 10 years left on it, where it's actually back in 2016, the ACC and ESPN agreed to a 20-year grant of rights deal. And what that means is that all the teams in the ACC agreed that if they left the ACC, they would have to give all of their money, all of their media rights money, to the ACC all the way through 2035-36. So you get none of your money. If whatever that money is that they would be getting from the SEC, that money would go to the ACC. The ACC's like, yeah, sure, go. Knock yourself out. We'll take that SEC money.
That's about as stupid as what the SEC was getting paid for the CBS Game of the Week. That's about as bad as that contract in my opinion.
Well, that's what they agreed to get that money. The ACC's grant of rights means that were a school to leave the conference for another conference, quote, the ACC will get any media revenue generated from athletic events on its campus through summer 2036. So, that's a lot.
Wow. Okay. Whew, somebody needs to get a better lawyer on that one. Well,
yeah,
brother.
Now, there's a way to do it. There's a way to do something. The exit fee, man, according to ESPN's Andrea Adelson, and an ad pops up. Gotta be kidding me. I don't care about growing grass right now. Any departing school would – okay, I said that part. Let's see. According to Adelson, Andrea Adelson from ESPN, throw in the exit fees. According to Adelson, those are currently $120 million. And that's a lot of money to lose, considering the ACC paid out $36.1 million to each of its 15 schools, including Notre Dame, for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. All right, so not only do you give up your rights fees all the way through 2036, but you have to scratch a check for $120 million in exit fees to leave the conference.
Now, they do have the backdoor caveat that if so many schools agree that they can dissolve that conference, correct?
Right, 8. If a total of 8 schools were to leave, all of that goes away. If 8 schools were to leave.
Now, that includes the TV money fine if they dissolve.
Everything goes away.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
That would be interesting to see if that bulk would be on the table to get what they want. So.
Right.
It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to be at SEC Media Days. I'm going to get up there and see if Grizz Dance is on the bar in Nashville and see what goes on up there.
Yeah.
He might come back with the misses after this is over with.
I hear you. All right. Appreciate you.
Roll Tide.
I'm interested to see what SEC Media Days is going to be like in Nashville. We know what it is like in Birmingham. It used to be a free-for-all with the fans. It used to be the fans would walk the halls because the SEC Radio Row was in between the hotel and the Galleria Mall. and the fans were allowed to walk down through there. And I remember when certain coaches like Mike Shula would come and come to everybody's tables, or whoever tables had set up interviews with him, the fans would be coming down. A horde of fans would be following Mike Shula, and they would be knocking over stuff and knocking drinks over on radio tables and disconnecting people's radio gear and everything else. It was absolutely crazy. So then they made it so that the fans were in that bullpen area, just in the lobby. They were just held to the lobby area of the hotel there, and then as the coaches and players came and went from upstairs to downstairs, the fans could hoot and holler and at them. I know in Atlanta it's even more restricted. The fans are only allowed in the area, the foyer area of the Hall of Fame. So everything there is upstairs. Everything was upstairs except for the main room, which was on the first level. Were you in Atlanta with us, Grizz? I don't know if you were in Atlanta with us or not. But were you in Atlanta or were you back at Mission Control?
No, I was back here.
You got to have a stud back at Mission Control. You really do. And it's really, to be honest with you, after the first hour, you wish you were back at Mission Control. I'll be totally honest with you. But at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, the fans are only allowed in the atrium of where the Hall of Fame is, where the helmets are and everything else, and that's even a smaller area. And I will say this, there was nowhere near as many fans in Atlanta as there were in Hoover. When you're in Hoover, there's a pretty good pack of fans at all times. Pretty much the entire bullpen area where they put the fans are it's full. Pretty much the whole time it's full, except for when Vanderbilt's there. But in Atlanta, it really wasn't. I mean, you were able to move around, and Alabama and Georgia had fans, but it really wasn't a heavy fan presence. I feel like
if it's not the SEC championship game, Atlanta's not a big college.
No, they don't care.
Yeah, it's college football is not the thing. It's Hawks, Falcons, and just.
No, they don't even go to Hawks and Falcons.
They really don't care about that.
them.
But I mean, when it comes to when you walk around the city and stuff like that, you can see the signage and everything like that, because I've been there plenty of times during the games and stuff like that. But it's just not the same feel when those two teams are playing than when the Braves are playing, because you got the Battery and everything around it, and it's all isolated right there. So that's the kind of difference. And I really don't.
It's just not really downtown Atlanta. So
really
that's the difference.
Feel good with college, Yeah.
I don't. To be totally honest with you, I mean, Atlanta likes to call itself the capital, the college football capital. I disagree with that 100%. It is not the capital of college football. All right, it is not. No more so than Chuck, says that he's the king of college football. I think is that what he calls himself?
Yeah, he's the king.
Yeah, he's not. He's not the king of college football. But the reality is, Atlanta is not the home of college football. It is not. I'm sorry. Notre Dame is more the home of college football than when the Hall of Fame was at Notre Dame, and I've been to it up there when it was at Notre Dame. Someplace like that is more the home of college football than Atlanta is. Atlanta's the home of the College Football Hall of Fame. The South has more fans than anybody, but Birmingham is the capital of college football. I mean, if you were to say someplace is the capital of college football, to me it would be Birmingham, to be honest with you.
Brandon just texted in and said that the SEC Media Days needed to be at the Battery.
The SEC Media Days now this year is in Nashville, so I'm interested. I'm interested to see how Nashville is going to handle it, how it's going to be set up there, and how the SEC will take care of business in Nashville. I fully expect to be going to Dallas in the next year or two. I do believe that. I think SEC Media Days is going to be in. I think SEC Media Days is going to be in Dallas next year. That's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my prediction. With Oklahoma and Texas coming, and Texas A&M already over there, you watch. The SEC Media Days will be in Dallas next year. Not that Dallas isn't a lovely place. I just don't like it. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back more after this. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
To make Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
0% financing is happening right now at Woody Anderson Ford through Memorial Day weekend. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got financing as low as 0% APR for up to 36 months on 22 and 23 models of F-150, Explorer, Edge, and Escape. These are our best-selling Fords, and for a limited time, both 22 and 23 models have 0% financing, but it's only through Memorial Day weekend. Test drive a Woody Anderson Ford F-150, and you'll completely understand why it's the best-selling truck in America 46 years in a row. We've got a good selection of Explorers, Edges, and Escapes too, and some come with trade assist or bonus cash. But if you remember one thing, remember this. Woody Anderson Ford has 0% financing on 22 and 23 models of F-150, Explorer, Edge, and Escape through Memorial Day weekend only. Available with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. These offers end May 31st. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back to Tom Abraham Show. All right, let me get Phillip in here quick before we get to the top of the hour because we have Kennington Lloyd Smith coming up, the new Alabama beat writer, coming up at the top of the hour. Phillip, welcome in. How are you?
I'm all right. So your 150-yard shot, are we teed up on a par 3 or are we in the fairway?
Let's say from the fairway. Good lie, though. I'm hitting the same club either way. I don't change whether it's on the tee or in the fairway, unless it's a bad lie.
Is there water in front?
Full carry. Got to carry it all the way to the hole. Water, trap, can't scuds it. All carry.
5 hybrid. Here's my deal. So I thought about this the other day.
Yeah.
After you were talking about the new stadium in Nashville around Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
They didn't screw with Ted Rhodes golf course, did they?
No.
That's
Rhodes
still there, right?
That's still there. Yeah.
That's a fantastic track. So
yeah, as a Muni, it is. It really is a pretty nice little track for a Muni.
Lot of water. Water. But it's a nice track. It's fun.
Yeah.
So Michigan Danica. I will be coming to Nashville in not the too distant future.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine has passed, and his mother has some things to give me, so I need to be making a trip to Nashville. I will spot Michigan Danica.
Wolverine Danica.
At Ted Rhodes. If we go to Willowbrook in Manchester, Tennessee, I'll spot him 15 strokes. Just saying.
What if we met in the middle and went to Bear Trace on Tim's Ford Lake, which would be right in the middle between Huntsville and Nashville?
Never played Bear Trace, but I'm in. What kind of
neither has he probably. Fantastic. Look it up. It's part of the Jack Nicklaus circuit in the state of Tennessee. It's called Bear Trace.
Bear
Trace.
In Tennessee.
Yeah, Bear Trace, Tim's Ford Lake. Yeah, check it out. It's part of the Nicholas courses. All right, appreciate you. All right, coming up next, Kennington Lloyd Smith. He is the new Alabama beat writer for The Athletic. He's a Georgia guy. Going to have to learn a little bit more about him. But we'll let him in next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning, I'm Doug Brown. Tom Brady played his last game less than 4 months ago, and now he could become a limited partner of the Raiders. The team is owned by Mark Davis, who also owns the WNBA's Las Vegas Aces. In March, Brady bought a minority stake in the Aces. The Nuggets finish off the Suns in 6 games, winning in Phoenix last night, 125-100. Nikola Jokic with another dominant performance, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Denver advances to the Western Conference Final. The 76ers could not do the same in the East. The Celtics win Game 6, 95-86. Game 7 of that series in Boston Sunday. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Hurricanes eliminate the Devils in 5 games, 3-2 on an overtime goal from Jesper Fast.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms once again this afternoon. Maybe a little cooler considering more cloud cover across the area. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. Early into your Saturday morning, a partly sunny sky through Saturday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms certainly going to be in the forecast, but the day's not going to be a complete wash. This is going to be your typical summertime variety shower and thunderstorm activity. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 80s. A partly sunny sky for your Sunday. It's going to be a fantastic Mother's Day across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Some of us making a solid run at 90 degrees. A couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms certainly can't be ruled out. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. So glad that you are with us. This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you are in Alabama or Tennessee or Florida, North Alabama Mortgage has the proper product for you. And, yes, the rates did go up some, and they stabilized somewhat, the mortgage rates. But you know what else is up? The value in your home. And you know what else is really, really high is those credit cards that you have and the interest rate on those. So think about pulling some of that equity you have in your home out of your home and use that. So what if you got to pay 5% or 6% on the mortgage rate? You're replacing those 22, 23, 24% credit cards with that. So you're way, way ahead. And North Alabama Mortgage, just go to northalabamamortgage.com to learn more about it. We are on location today. We are out here in Scottsboro, Alabama, at the Goose Pond Plantation course, as the Jackson County Bama Club is having their Roll Tide golf tournament to raise money for their scholarships, and they take care of so many kids. They have handled 6 or 7 scholarships every year through the Endowed Scholarship Fund for future Scottsboro and Jackson County students who attend the University of Alabama. So this is what they're raising money for. They've been doing this for years and years, and they're all out here today. And as I said, the downpour of rain that we had all morning long stopped. The skies have cleared. Not cleared, but it's gotten much brighter for sure. And everybody is out on the golf course now enjoying a round of golf and raising some money for that scholarship fund. All right, joining us now, Kennington Lloyd Smith. I mean, this is about as good a name as you could have, right, in the media, Kennington Lloyd Smith. He is the new beat writer for Alabama for The Athletic. As you guys know, I've talked about The Athletic in the past. I'm a lifetime. I have a subscription since they started, since the day they opened up, and always had a great relationship with the folks from The Athletic, so many of them that come on the show and so on. And now Kennington Lloyd Smith, the third, not even the first, but the third Kennington Lloyd Smith. He is covering the Tide, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Kenny, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Fantastic. And we got to get one thing out of the way first, because I told my listeners, I said, I saw the number, I saw the 770. Okay, write your bio. All right, know you grew up in Atlanta. Know you went to Georgia. Okay, I get. I get all of that about being professional and not having bias and so on. You guys that write, that's the way you got to be. Us radio talk show hosts, we're unbiased. We can have our bias, that's okay. But I know you got to be unbiased. But how does this work? I mean, you got to tell us now that the listeners that are Tide fans, how does a dude that went to Georgia and is from Georgia, I mean, how do you get your head around covering Alabama? Yeah, give us a 411 on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. If you would have told a younger me that I would be covering Alabama at any capacity, I probably would call you crazy. But here we are, and it's like an incredible opportunity. So I'm excited to be a part of it and how it's going to go. I did go to Georgia, but I learned very early on in my school days that there's really no place for the bias like you were talking about. When I went to school, if we wore team logos to class, we would get an F for the day. We would get sent home. Yeah. So, that was my rude awakening to kind of leave the fanship at the door. So I'm going to be objective. I'm going to tell it like it is. And from what I understand from the early comments that I've gotten from my Athletic subscribers is that they want somebody to come in and tell it straight. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to come in and be a hater or, I'm not going to come in and try to be overly a homer either. I feel like I'm going to come in, try to tell it down the middle, provide some good analysis, and I hope people, come along for the ride.
Don't like the homer. I got to be honest with you. I'm glad that you say that because we don't want, smart Alabama fans don't want a guy that is a homer. They want him to tell it the way it is. Also, though, there's this the flip side, the national narrative that the sky is falling and Nick Saban forgot how to recruit quarterbacks and that Kirby Smart is Nick Saban's daddy now and all of that kind of stuff. Don't want that either because that seems to be a little disingenuous. It seems like for 15 years a certain segment of the media has been waiting to pounce on Alabama and they're using this opportunity, this horrific 11-2 season last year, losing 2 games on the last play of the game, that somehow has signaled the demise of the Tide. They've been waiting for this, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's something to what you said. I think that Alabama has been on top for so long, and I'll just say right now, I still feel like they are the premier brand in college football, but they've been on top for so long that people from the outside, they want parity so bad, and they want to see somebody else rise to the top so they can feel like, there's something more interesting to talk about. So when you see a Georgia rise to the level of prominence like they have, and then you see what Brian Kelly's doing at LSU, and they're able to get a win over Alabama, and you see what is happening at Tennessee, and they were able to get a win for them as well, there's a little bit of validity to people wanting to kind of poke holes in the chinks in the armor of Alabama, so to say. So it has, it seems like, from what you're describing, like it feels like so long ago since Alabama won a national championship, but it was just 2 years ago, and they were in the national championship in 2021 as well. So they're not going anywhere, but obviously, once you're at the top, people want to kind of see a bit of a drop off so they can, find something new to talk about as well. So I'm not ready to write off Alabama as a program. I think they're going to be right there in the mix again this year behind a great defense. And, you alluded to the quarterback thing. That's a question in itself, but I expect, Alabama to be competing at the highest level like they have been.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you mention that, because it's like a double standard. Alabama has had a run of 7 years where they've had Heisman Trophy candidate quarterbacks. Okay, that's great. And they did win a couple of national championships during that run. On the other hand, Georgia took a walk-on quarterback that was 5'10" and played great defense, discipline, not a lot of penalties, run the ball, play action pass, and won the last 2 national championships. And now they're replacing a quarterback as well. But it's like Alabama can't compete unless they have this great quarterback, whereas it seems like it's okay for Georgia. I mean, why is it that, you're here to tell me that none of these guys that Alabama has, including the transfer Tyler Buckner, none of those guys can play to the level of Stetson Bennett the fourth? I mean, if you take care of the ball, play defense, and don't make a lot of mistakes, you can win championships just like they were back in the day with Jake Coker and Greg McElroy and those kind of guys.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that I addressed in my mailbag, with somebody asking about, does Tommy Rees coming in kind of signal that Alabama's going to kind of return to what they were in the early 2010s? And I think that Nick Saban is trying to get a little bit closer to more complementary football, more balance in the offense, because I think, to your point, when you have so many great quarterbacks, and then especially the dual threat ones, the Bryce Youngs, the Jalen Hurts, Alabama's become very quarterback reliant over the last few years. I think last year was the biggest example of that, where a lot of the offense kind of felt like Bryce Young kind of like holding things together. And when you've gotten that picture for so long, it's hard to envision a different version of Alabama, even though they've won with kind of like the game manager-esque quarterbacks running the ball, great defenses like they've had in the past. So I would expect them to be a little bit more balanced. I don't think, especially this year in college football, you need that overly dynamic quarterback. I mean, when you look across the landscape, Georgia's bringing in a new quarterback. Ohio State is bringing in a new quarterback. Michigan has J.J. McCarthy, but they haven't reached that extra gear of explosive offense that we expected to see out of them. LSU is bringing back Jaden Daniels, but they still haven't, reached that top gear with their quarterback as well. So when you look across the national landscape, you probably don't need that elite quarterback to win a national championship this year. So if Alabama can get competent play out of the quarterback, take care of the ball, and play good defense, then they will be a factor this year.
Yeah, and we'll just have to see how all of it unfolds. And that's one of the exciting things. One of the things I like, to be honest with you, the term murder ball was coined a few years back. Just Alabama would line up and you'd watch them every week, and it got to the point where even some casual fans wouldn't even bother watching the entire game because they're just out there hammering everybody. And then the whole season seemed to come down to Iron Bowl, SEC championship game, and then the playoffs. It's not really the case this year. They're favored in every game. I mean, look, even the LSU game and the Tennessee game, those people that beat them last year, they're favored in those games by over a touchdown. Same thing with the Texas game. But at least it feels like there's a little bit of intrigue. There's been a little bit of drama. And, it's like the redemption tour. I think this is a fascinating year coming up to see what this team can do. Some people don't even have them as a top 5 team to start the season, and I think that's going to energize everybody down there.
Yeah, again, like when you're kind of what we were talking about earlier, when you've been wanting parity for so long and you start to see, even if it's the slightest decline, like a decline for Bama is not making the playoffs. So when you see them not make the playoffs and you see other teams start to ascend, and then you see 2 teams beat them in the regular season, which hasn't happened in quite a while, then it kind of gives an opportunity to elevate a few other teams. So to your point, I think the schedule is fascinating. The home schedule is going to be crazy this year. So again, those 2 losses that you talked about on the last play of the game, those were away. They're going to get those teams at home. Texas was a highly competitive game, and they're going to get them in Tuscaloosa as well. So I know the city is going to be rocking, and I know that the team is going to be looking to get a little bit of revenge and to remind people that Alabama is still here and they're still a main fixture. I don't really quite understand why they weren't a top 5 team in some polls. I've been seeing them. I've been seeing those Florida States kind of, rising up a bit. I see LSU's ahead of them as well, and Michigan, Georgia, obviously, Ohio State. But I will put Alabama amongst, all of those teams. I think, they have a chance to probably be the best defense in the country this year. I think they're going to run the ball at a higher clip, and I think they're going to be more effective running the ball. A lot of it is going to come down to confidence in quarterback play again, and if there's, an alpha male that can step up at that receiver position, which is a little bit different, I guess. Offense hasn't really been the question mark at Alabama for several years now, but it is this year. But a lot of pressure on Tommy Rees. We'll see what he does in terms of bringing in his tweaks to Alabama's offensive foundation, and I think it's going to be a fascinating year.
Yeah, Kennington Lloyd Smith, our guest, talking some Tide, and with all due respect to Tommy Rees, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. To me, I want to know about Kevin Steele returning the Alabama defense to what we've used to seeing there out of the Tide. Because, look, you score 32, 33 points, down in Baton Rouge. You win that game by 2 touchdowns. That's what your expectation is. You go to Tennessee and score 50. That should be long over. You're not in that. You're not messing around at the end of that game. Hoping to make a field goal or something to win the game, and that's ridiculous. So I think that's the bigger thing is the impact that Kevin Steele may have returning a Nick Saban defense that he already knows the nomenclature to and the style of play to, returning them to that type of deal. And the other big thing is the discipline, right? I mean, 17 penalties against Tennessee, 15 penalties against LSU. If it wasn't a Nick Saban team, you would say, well, that's a poorly coached team. You would look at that and say, well, that's a poorly coached football team that is undisciplined. That has to change.
Yeah, looking at Alabama's defense last year, it's kind of one of those statistics versus eye test arguments where statistically Alabama had, a good defense, top 10 defense, but it didn't feel like the typical Alabama defense. They didn't play with the same aggression. They didn't play with the same discipline, to your point. They were missing a lot of tackles. They weren't forcing a lot of turnovers like you see the ball-hawking defensive back of Alabama defenses pass. So I think bringing in Kevin Steele was a great hire by Saban. Like you said, this is his 3rd stint at Alabama. He understands what Saban wants to do, and bringing in that discipline, bringing in that tough coaching, I think is going to be the biggest difference. I think you saw a little bit of that during A-Day. I think schematically it looked the same in terms of their defensive looks, but there were far fewer penalties in A-Day, and I understand it's a watered-down version of an actual game, but the defense played a lot more discipline. I didn't see as many missed tackles, and they forced 4 interceptions as well. So it was a little bit of a glimpse of what kind of Alabama fans are used to out of a defense, and I think Kevin Steele kind of coming in, bringing in that tough coaching approach, and he's been all around the country, marrying that with what he had with Saban and what Saban wants to do defensively. I think that small difference is what's going to push Alabama's defense forward this year.
All right, finally, it's been an ugly 3 or 4 months, certainly for the athletic department as a whole. Of course, you had the situation with the basketball team, and then you had the Tony Mitchell deal, and then the gambling scandal that costs Brad Bohannon his job, and we don't know what all the details are on that yet. 3 unrelated things that have a common thread being the fact that this is all happening under, one athletic director's guidance at Alabama. Is this something that that you can point a finger to, or I mean, it's a very, very unfortunate situation. There's no doubt about it, and it's just bringing it's just such a terrible look nationally for not only Alabama athletics but for the SEC, for the state, and for the SEC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that it is, that there's like a common thread besides the athletic director when you think about the differences of each situation. But I don't think it paints well on the light of the athletic program of Alabama when the storyline should be the fact that the basketball team rose to number 1 in the country and Brandon Miller is likely going to be a top 5 pick, and the fact that Alabama baseball has kind of had this resurgence under Bohannon and they're looking like an NCAA tournament team. Those should be the storylines, and unfortunately it's kind of being masked by the scandals, to your point. And A.D. Byrne is going to have to answer to that at some point. I'm not sure, and I'm probably not at liberty, only being on the job for like 2 days, to say whether his, job is on the line or not. But I do think it is going to be his responsibility to kind of galvanize the athletic program and put them back on a straight and narrow to where scandals are not the story. The excellence on the field is the story. So, like you said, it's been an ugly few months for Alabama athletics, but maybe a quiet summer and a strong football season kind of put those things at bay, and Eddie Byrne can kind of get things under control.
Excellent job, man. I appreciate you, Kenny. You follow him on the Twitter at Skinny Kenny. Are you keeping that Twitter handle? I mean, that's going to be your Twitter handle, right?
That's my Twitter handle. So everybody listening right now, at Skinny Kenny with an underscore at the end. So I've only been here for 2 days. I don't have many Alabama followers. If you're listening to this, I feel like I know ball. Like, what I'm saying? I feel like I've kind of, showed a little metal here. So if you like what you heard, follow me on Twitter at SkinnyKenny_. Subscribe to The Athletic. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to be putting out a lot of dope content, and I'm excited to be here. So I hope everybody follows along for the run.
I got to be honest with you. You nailed it, man. I mean, you nailed it. I'm going to put you in our regular rotation. We got a number of the Alabama guys that come on, and you killed it, and I appreciate that. And I'll add my voice to all the others that said, you're not in Iowa anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, for those that don't know, Kenny spent the last couple of years covering the Iowa Hawkeyes, who never score a point. So he had to cover that last year. So he's going from the ridiculous to the sublime, I guess, after watching Iowa average like 8 points a game, I think, last season, something like that. But I appreciate you. Welcome in. Welcome to the state, and looking forward to great things out of you.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on so much. Again, everybody follow me, and anytime you call, I'll be here. So I'm looking forward to more great conversation.
So it's at Skinny Kenny. Where's the underscore between the Skinny and the Kenny?
End. It's at the end of Kenny.
Oh, at the end of Kenny.
Kenny underscore at the end of Kenny.
All right, so at Skinny Kenny underscore. All right, so that's how you find them on the Twitter, and of course at The Athletic. And as I tell people all the time, they got these ridiculous deals going on over there. You can become a subscriber, very affordably at The Athletic, and you can follow everything that he's writing there about the Crimson Tide. All right, Kenny, I appreciate you, man.
All right, for sure. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. What do you think, Grizz? We give him a thumbs up? I thought he was good.
Oh, yeah, good stuff. Great stuff. Oh, yeah.
I thought he was good. He was good. I thought he brought the heat well. First time out. Could be intimidating, when you're with the big dog. I know how they can be.
Support my Georgia guys.
Yeah, well, easy now. Easy. We don't want to tag him as a Georgia guy because
he didn't get it like me, though.
Covering the Tide.
See, he didn't get it like me, though. I get it. He went to Georgia. I mean, but when I was a kid, when I lived there, I was an Alabama fan in Georgia, so I got it a lot.
You're from here.
Yeah, I got it a lot.
You're from here.
No, I know.
Born in Atlanta and went to Georgia.
That's crazy. You would never think that me growing up as an Alabama fan that I would be going and covering Auburn more than the Crimson Tide, which I actually I enjoy going to Jordan-Hare. I do enjoy going down to Auburn. It's a beautiful campus. It's a beautiful stadium, and it's just weird when you kind of grow up and you're a fan of something, and then you're going and you're like for instance, next week we got soccer coming in town. I didn't know I'd be getting to cover some soccer.
Maybe
if I'm not here by next week, we'll see.
Maybe you never know.
Whatever, if I'm here by next week.
All right, let's grab a break. We will come back with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. We'll broaden our scope to the rest of the SEC and talk a little bit about the transfers, both Alabama and Auburn, and look at some of the win totals around the league as well. With Connor O'Gara next from Saturday Down South on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm Olympic gold medalist Rowdy Gaines, and I'm recommending you register for the 40th Annual Alabama State Games, happening June 9th through June 11th in Birmingham. Athletes of all ages and abilities will participate in any of the 25 team or individual sports. Registered athletes have the opportunity to win up to $4,000 in academic scholarships to add to the over $335,000 already awarded. Registered at alagames.com. That's ALAGAMES.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Scattered showers and thunderstorms once again this afternoon. Maybe a little cooler considering more cloud cover across the area. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. Dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. Early into your Saturday morning. A partly sunny sky through Saturday afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms certainly going to be in the forecast, but the day's not going to be a complete wash. This is going to be your typical summertime variety shower and thunderstorm activity. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 80s. A partly sunny sky for your Sunday. It's going to be a fantastic Mother's Day across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Some of us making a solid run at 90 degrees. A couple of isolated showers and thunderstorms certainly can't be ruled out. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
New coordinators.
That's as good as money, sir.
New quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Same coach.
All right, and you all may be taking the week off, all right, this week, but I'm not.
We are your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. It is Football Friday. I don't know whose fight song that is. Chris running the music for us on Football Friday. We are on location out here at the Goose Pond Plantation Golf Course, where the Jackson County Bama Backer Club is having their golf tournament to raise money for scholarships out of Jackson County for students that go to Alabama. It's not just an athletics thing. I mean, they're raising money for kids that want to go to Alabama from Scottsboro, from Jackson County, and they have raised a lot of money over the years. Every year they fund 6 or 7 kids off of this golf tournament, and the weather has really turned out quite nice after raining all morning, so that's a pretty cool deal. All right, joining us now, a guy that does a tremendous job for Saturday Down South. He wrote an interesting article when the win totals came out for the season. In the SEC, he wrote an interesting article on the best 5 bets on that. We'll get to that and get his thoughts in here and a couple of other things as well. He's Connor O'Gara, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Connor, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Hanging in there, one May day at a time.
Yes, it is one May day at a time, and it becomes a little difficult for us in this SEC footprint to do just SEC stuff. I know that's what you guys do there. But I'll be honest, just me as a dude, and I'm doing a show. I got to come up with 10 hours of content a week for a show. I can't look away from the NHL and NBA playoffs and baseball. I enjoy all of those things. I know that our priority with our listeners first and foremost is SEC football. But, the NFL the schedule came out yesterday. I mean, when you're not writing stuff for Saturday Down South, I mean, you're interested in other things, I would think, right?
No, I am, and I'll be honest. Like, this might be, and I'm a Chicago sports guy. This might be the worst time in Chicago sports ever. And then the Connor Bedard thing happened with the Blackhawks the other night. That's got everybody kind of fired up again after just a disastrous year. You have a somewhat promising start for my Chicago Cubs. There's optimism about getting the number 1 pick and then getting all the capital back that the Bears got. So, like, times are down, but I'll be honest. I'm more of a fair weather fan when it comes to that stuff, just because I live in Orlando. It's a little bit different with how I'm able to consume it, and especially not living bachelor life. It's not like I'm consuming that stuff around the clock, but I'm still dialed into mostly college football in May. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, well, we all are. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I did find it fascinating, the story about the fact that the Jacksonville has to they're going to be doing extensive work to rebuild that stadium, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will be displaced for 2 years, which means the cocktail party will be displaced for 2 years. The cocktail party, they what was it, 96, 97? I think 96, 97, and Florida just whomped them both times. They went home and home. The last time they were doing work on the stadium when that happened, and Steve Spurrier I think he dropped a 50-burger on them both games during that time. But it looks like they're going to go home and home again this time, but there's no guarantee yet that the folks in Jacksonville want a contract signed that says you're coming back, because you wonder if, the time is going to come where that's a home and home deal, and similar to what happened with the Iron Bowl. And we may be getting close to the end of the cocktail party in Jacksonville. I don't know. I'd hate to see it. But, that's a huge, huge date, certainly if those teams can go home and home on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn on it because I get it from the outside perspective. And if I'm a Georgia fan, I'm kind of upset about it, to be honest with you. The fact that this is considered a neutral site game, and you can look at the travel miles, and it's just not a neutral site. I mean, Florida is playing a lot closer to home, and they have more favorable conditions in that way. I won't deny that. But at the same time, like, I've been there for this game, and this game is awesome. And it's such a cool atmosphere. And it's like, I know Jacksonville kind of gets dogged as this, like, town that, they have the Jaguars, but they're not like this big pro sports town. It's like, it's a big city that's on the water. I don't really know why it gets kind of the hate that it does. And it's a cool vibe. The tailgating is awesome. The atmosphere is, it's a true split. You can set your watch to it. Like, it's just fun. And I think the more of these rivalries that we have in college football that kind of have these atypical surroundings. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma get to play right next to the state fair, this giant, massive state fair. And that's just a thing that we accept. Like, there are certain things that we come to expect with rivalries. And, why does A&M and Arkansas, why do they play in Dallas every single year? It's just like, This is just what they've done, and it kind of speaks to some of the the nostalgia of it, but I won't necessarily be one of those people saying that they need to have home and homes. I'll obviously be a fan of seeing Georgia have to play in the Swamp or something like that, but at the same time, I do love what they get to do in Jacksonville every year.
Yeah, and I understand. I didn't realize how, I always used to think that the State Fair deal with that game, that it was unfair for Oklahoma, but I didn't realize how much of a split that was in terms of mileage from Austin and from Norman. So that one was pretty even. Now, the Iron Bowl, I know that Auburn fans always had a kind of a red butt over that Iron Bowl because being in Birmingham, I mean, it's like 45 miles from Tuscaloosa, and it was a 50-50 split at the stadium. But that was a little bit of a hike, and of course Alabama played so many games there back in the day. So that one there, I kind of get what they did with that. But I don't know, this cocktail party thing, this might be it.
It might be, yeah. Who knows? I mean, I think both parties have their reasons to want to be able to kind of get the home and home, get that revenue, and obviously the city of Jacksonville is like, hey, no, two massive fan bases coming to our city for this weekend and drinking all of our alcohol. We would love to have that in Jacksonville on a yearly basis. So, yeah, a lot of parties have a lot of different motives at stake here.
And then there's the Jags and what they're going to do, and there's this talk about London, and all these people think that Shad Khan has no interest in actually being in Jacksonville, and ultimately he wants to put the team in London, and of course they're going to spend all that money on the stadium. So they're wondering what are they going to do for 2 years, and to me it's a no-brainer. I mean, you want to own the top half of Florida, you got to play in Orlando, Gainesville, and Tallahassee. Figure it out. But, I mean, they should be playing 3 games in each of those places, during those couple of years, and they could own that whole corridor up there. Maybe not Orlando as much with the Tampa Bay Bucks down the road, but for them, they should own the whole Panhandle. They should own that Gainesville area. That's what I would do. I would work it out to go play games at at those stadiums.
Yeah, Camping World could definitely do it. I mean, Camping World is a relatively lightly used stadium, and I've seen a lot of different events in there. I saw Beyonce and Jay-Z there, no big deal. Awesome place to be able to watch an outdoor concert because of the weather and all that. But, I've seen NFL games there too, and it could definitely hold something like that. I'm interested to see if that would be the move. There's a lot of talk in my area about the Tampa Bay Rays and the potential bid with some of the Magic ownership to try and get the Rays to Orlando instead of leaving St. Pete in the bid and what all that would look like. But, man, if you're telling me I can watch regular NFL football here in Orlando, I'd be all about it.
So here in the state of Alabama, Conor O'Gara with us. 2 new quarterbacks coming into the state. Tyler Buchner, of course, comes in from Notre Dame to Alabama, and you get, of course, Peyton Thorne from Michigan State with a couple of years of eligibility left, heading for the Plains. It feels like, to me at least, Peyton Thorne, QB1, no questions asked. Don't even talk to me about, any kind of a battle in camp, with Robbie Ashford. I don't see that. But I don't feel that way about Tyler Buchner. I don't feel like Tyler Buchner's been promised anything. You wouldn't think they would bring him in unless they thought he was better than the guys they got. But I'm not ready to close the book on 4 scholarship quarterbacks that have hardly had a cup of coffee yet, at Alabama, and think that Tyler Buchner, with his 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions and his 3 starts at Notre Dame, is the man. 2 of them which were losses, by the way. What is your take on those 2 guys? Who got the better of the transfer QBs, if you will?
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. If you're giving me Peyton Thorne or Tyler Buchner, I'm taking Peyton Thorne. I think Peyton Thorne will end up being the starting quarterback at Auburn, despite the fact that, I do think Robbie Ashford is in a unique position, and he's had a very atypical journey to get to where he is entering year 4, given the fact that he was playing baseball at Oregon, didn't necessarily have those typical springs that you would hope a Power 5 quarterback is getting. So his development's at a different stage. I remind people that Malik Willis had to redshirt that first year at Liberty. And if the hope is to turn Robbie Ashford into this new version of Malik Willis, at least, there are similarities with skills. I think you would like to be able to see him kind of sit out a year and learn some of those reps and learn how to deal with the ebbs and flows from Peyton Thorne, who, look, he's had his struggles. If he didn't have his struggles, he'd still be at Michigan State. But he gives you a better chance to be able to execute those passing concepts. And I like the odds of him being kind of that guy who just start for 12 games. That's what Auburn needs. For Alabama, though, I don't think Tyler Buchner was promised anything. I agree with that 100%. At the same time, if Alabama was satisfied with its quarterback situation, it wasn't adding a 5th scholarship quarterback. there is something to be said for their own evaluation, thinking like, man, we still need to be able to make a move. And it's not just as simple as, oh, well, Tommy Rees knows this guy, so they're just going to bring him in because why not? Why wouldn't you? No, there's still a certain balance of power. There's still a certain risk associated with bringing in someone like Tyler Buchner and potentially having one of those talented blue-chip homegrown quarterbacks leave. And that is on the table. Even though I don't think Tyler Buchner is going to be the starter, I do get why the move was made, and I understand why Tommy Rees wanted to take a chance on somebody that he already has that rapport with.
Conor Ruggiero with us here. All right, to the win totals that were posted by Vegas regarding the SEC, and I thought you wrote a fascinating article. You picked the 5 best bets that you thought that were out there, and let's talk about them. I like what you said about the Alabama deal at 10.5. By the way, they were at 10.5 last year too, which I think is important. They were 10.5 last year, and they were prevented by going over by 2 penalty-filled games that they lost on the last, snap of the game, both on the road at LSU and at Tennessee. You wrote, do you believe Nick Saban is about to have multiple regular season losses in consecutive years for the first time at Alabama? Not only that, but they would be upset losses. They were double-digit favorites in both of those games. And right now, Vegas has them as a minimum 7.5-point favorite in every single game they play, and 10 of the 12 are double-digit favorites. So, and all the tougher games outside of Texas A&M are at home. So I think you're exactly right. Not only does Saban have to lose 2 in a row, he has to actually get upset 2 years in a row, or 2 games 2 years in a row, which is really hard to wrap your head around.
Okay, I'm going to disagree, though, on the point that they're like that we could just say Alabama's 2 games away from being undefeated because you're discounting the 3 games that they won in that fashion, wherein they were a competent goal line call from Texas A&M, from being able to from losing that football game. They were a missed field goal from beating Texas. Obviously, the stand that they were able to make against Ole Miss. I feel like you could point to all 3 of those games. I mean, Alabama played with fire way too much to simply say, like, oh, they were a couple plays away from being 12-0. So I'm not necessarily on board with that. What I am on board with is saying, look, if you're assuming that Alabama is going to have multiple regular season losses again, you're out on Alabama being this version of itself. You're essentially saying, we think that this dynasty, this 15-year run is coming to an end, and this is what this looks like, because I still have a hard time predicting Alabama to lose 2 games in the regular season. This year with the road games that they have, they had some really difficult road games last year. That this year, obviously, you get Texas and LSU coming to Tuscaloosa, and you feel better about those chances. So, yeah, I'm taking the over, especially considering that it's plus money at plus 120.
And Tennessee coming to Tuscaloosa as well. Yeah. Now, you had them at under 9.5 as one of your best bets. I'm in agreement with you on that one too. I have them at 9-3 is where I have them right now. It just seems like they could get tripped up somewhere along the line, and they're going to be an underdog to Alabama and Georgia. Georgia's in their building as a 7-point favorite, but it's still so that would be an upset win, if you will, for the Vols. And the thing is, I don't think 9-3 would be like the sky is falling, it was an aberration, anything like that. I think 9-3 would be a pretty fine season with the schedule that they play. I don't know that would satisfy Vol fans, but 9-3 doesn't suck if you're Tennessee, after losing Hendon Hooker.
Exactly. That's what I keep coming back to. I mean, you have Alabama and Georgia on the schedule. I mean, yeah. I'm going to take pretty much anybody with an over-under of 9.5 wins. I'm going to take the under on that because, look, those 2 games, I still would expect Tennessee to be an underdog. And there are Tennessee fans who won't want to hear that, and they think that, and I'm not saying Tennessee fans, but in college football, a lot of us are guilty of thinking that rivalries are automatically this linear deal.
See, when I look at the number 6.5, this is a weird deal. When I look at the number 6.5, I want to go over. I want to say 7. I want to say 7. Then when I look at their schedule, I say, okay, UMass, they got to beat Cal at Cal. That's still, Cal's not a very good team, but neither was Auburn last year. So that's still going all the way across the country. But let's give them the win there, and they beat Samford. They lose the next 3, Texas A&M, Georgia, LSU. Now they're 3-3. I got them, okay, you got to split the Mississippi schools at home. That's 4-4. You beat Vanderbilt, that's 5. You beat New Mexico State, that's 6. I can't find the seventh game. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find the seventh win at Arkansas. Where's the seventh win? That's the dilemma I have with it. It feels like they could win 7 games, but I don't know which game they win that is the 7th game.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that spot if you take the over, and this team very well could start off 2-4. That's not out of the realm of possibility. And I applaud what Hugh Freeze has done in the transfer portal because, man, his efforts, he has helped raise the floor of that program in year one. And I think what Hugh Freeze has done a really good job of is understanding the urgency. Yes, you've got a really intriguing option in Robbie Ashford, but you go out and you get Peyton Thorne because you think that can actually help us win this year. And I know the way that it's gone for the last 2 guys. Brian Harsin couldn't figure it out offensively. Gus Malzahn was paid $21.5 million to walk away. You have to have a sense of urgency if you're the Auburn head coach. You just do. You can't settle for, we're a project here, we're a project there. We're going to be a liability on the offensive line. They got 3 group of 5 transfers who are going to be starters on that offensive line because they're veterans, and they understand how exactly to block at the FBS level. And that's what they've kind of lacked these last couple of years. So I do think that the under makes more sense, though. I think that just because of the schedule. I mean, if the schedule was maybe an East schedule and you didn't have a Power 5 road game in non-conference play where you're going across the country, maybe it's a different story, but man, LSU, Georgia, and Alabama, obviously we know that's the way it works for Auburn. There's a reason why it's really difficult to rebuild and to do so in the SEC West.
And Georgia, going to go undefeated for the 3rd straight year. I mean, they got a popcorn schedule this year. The game at Tennessee, maybe. I guess that's the toughest game on the schedule. Pencil them into Atlanta, and they'll be 12-0 again. I mean, I don't know how they're going to be double-digit favorites in every game. I don't know how you pick them to. I think at Tennessee they're 7.5, something like that. They might not be a double-digit favorite at Tennessee, but for the most part, it's hard to find a loss for Georgia in the regular season.
See, you called it a popcorn schedule. It's the type of schedule where if you're starting off the game by going to get your popcorn, by the time you get in your seat to sit down and have your popcorn, the game could be over. I mean, that's how lopsided this looks for Georgia this year. And look, I was drinking the Tennessee Kool-Aid last year, and I went on record everywhere that would have me, and I said, I think this is the year that Tennessee upsets Georgia. And we saw that game play out in Athens the way that it did. It wasn't as close as what the final score would indicate. So it's tough to really get on board with that idea, knowing that we have the aforementioned Hendon Hooker replacement in Tennessee, and thinking that this is now the time in which Georgia can't beat Tennessee. When last year, I mean, they got 15 guys that they lost in the NFL draft, and it did not matter at all. And that team still went 15-0. So yeah, it's boring to pencil them in at 12-0. It would have been a different story. I think their win total would have been at 11 if the Oklahoma game was on that schedule, just because of some of the optics of it, even though you're still probably taking the over. But yeah, I usually don't advise taking the over on 11.5 wins for anybody, just because the idea one bad day can ruin that. But with Georgia, yeah, you take the over.
By the way, our long national nightmare is over. TJ Finley to Texas State. Do you remember when he was being recruited? I mean, did you ever think that 5 years later, TJ Finley would be going to Texas State? I mean, when he was coming out of Florida and he ended up at LSU, he was supposed to be the next it guy, and that's where TJ Finley is now, Texas State. All right, finally, when the SEC muckety-mucks get together in Destin after Memorial Day, we come out of there with a decision on 9-game schedule and the dissolving of the divisions, or will we actually even get the regular 3 locked-in opponents if it's going to be a 3-6-6 type of schedule? Do you think any of that, all of that, or some of that gets decided in Destin now that we're only about 16, 17 months out of Texas and Oklahoma officially being members of the SEC?
I think all of it. We find it out. I don't think Greg Sankey wants to go into SEC Media Days with that still lingering and having everybody trying to leak what the 3 permanents are for this team or that team. It's not going to be like an NFL schedule leak. It's not going to be anything like that. They're going to want to get this out there, get ahead of the message, and get this finalized, because Texas and Oklahoma, they're coming. That date is nearing, and being able to kind of lock that in, know what it's going to look like from a media package standpoint, all those different things. I think they want to get this figured out and not have this linger. They've had enough time to be able to sit there and try and figure out what this all is going to look like. Everybody knows the pros and cons. At this point, I don't think any new information is being brought to the table. I would guess they're going to have this figured out in the next few weeks here.
All right, and finally, with this word that's floating around that Oregon and Washington have already been vetted and approved by the Big Ten to take them, now to 18, do you think that's actually happening? And do you think that the SEC is in conversations with anybody, whether it is out of the ACC with the ridiculous media rights deals that they have there, or maybe plucking even more from the Big 12 or wherever? Do you think the SEC answers, or the SEC willing to allow the Big Ten to become an 18-team conference while the SEC has 16?
Yeah, I mean, I think the SEC is locked into trying to get those ACC teams, but with the grants of rights deal that locks ACC teams in through 2036, I don't think that's necessarily as imminent. I think the SEC would like to see that figured out and have some sort of resolution on that before acting. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Big Ten did have those teams vetted. Why wouldn't you at this point? That's the direction this is all heading. If you're the Big Ten, you're trying to get as big and as bad as humanly possible, and they've already done so by adding a program like USC. Of course, TBD on UCLA how that transition goes. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all, and wouldn't surprise me if eventually we got a response from the SEC. Though it doesn't look like the ACC additions are imminent. If they were, and if there was a way to make this happen, I think we would have, seen some sort of development with these teams getting out of the grants of rights deal, which looks just like it has a stranglehold over the ACC right now.
Not only to grant the rights, $120 million exit fee. I mean, they've got those people, hog-tied for sure. All right, appreciate you as always. Connor O'Gara has been our guest. Does a tremendous job at Saturday Down South. One of my favorite guests that we ever have. Connor also has the podcast that you can find at Saturday Down South as well. Does a tremendous job on that too. Connor, I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely appreciate it, man.
All right, thanks, Connor O'Gara. All right, we got a break in here. We'll come back with a final segment next. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas return home for 6 games starting Tuesday, May 16th as they take on the Birmingham Barons. First 1,500 adults into the gates at Toyota Field will receive a commemorative Trash Pandas bobblehead. Get your tickets while they are still available now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Let's rock it.
Flow Trampoline Park is your one-stop fun spot for your next birthday party. Whether you're a boy, girl, kid, or adult, Flow has you covered. Party packages allow up to 25 plus guests, so you'll be able to bring all of your friends. And with all the fun competition to be had at Flow, maybe enemies too. Party packages will give you access to 60 minutes of jump time, grip socks for all guests, a private party room, and a party coordinator. Flow is behind South Parkway and Drake, behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Sports Talk 24/7 365. Your full nation.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
The anthem is brought to you by the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. For all your service needs, it's Woody Anderson Ford. They can get the job done for you, whether you have a Ford or not at Woody Anderson Ford. Don't forget the certified gold pre-owned vehicles. You can find those at WoodyAndersonFord.com. Bobby White and his team are just tremendous. I mean, they're just tremendous, and they're involved in everything that we do, and we appreciate them so much, and we hopefully you appreciate them as much as we do, and you patronize Woody Anderson Ford for what they do for us and for you guys. All right, that's going to do it today. I want to thank everybody out here at Goose Pond Plantation Golf Course, where it has not rained since these guys teed off. The Jackson County Emma Backers Club, I want to thank them for having us out here today as well. Tremendous job done by Grizz back at the shop. I'm Tom Abraham. Hopefully you'll have a great weekend, and we'll be back on Reaction Monday. Watch the playoffs. Watch the XFL Championship game tomorrow night. Enjoy that. Coming up next, it is the Paul Feinbaum Show here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just